You hear people talk about it, and you also hear about people going through it. But what is probate? That's what we're talking about today. Hey everyone, I'm Marvin, real estate broker and certified probate expert with Night Owl Realty. I'm not an attorney, I am a real estate broker. However, if you need the services of an attorney to get the probate process started, or if you want to talk to an attorney about your options for an estate plan, I can refer you to some attorneys to speak with. Over my career as a real estate broker, I've helped numerous families through the probate process. And personally, I don't think this subject is talked about enough. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know or understand what probate is until someone close to them passes away and they are forced to deal with it. I get asked a lot about what probate is and how to handle the probate process. I'm making it my personal mission to shed light on the topic of probate to educate people and let them know by having the proper estate planning set up that you can avoid probate in Arizona. All right, so let's break down what probate is. Probate simply is the process used to prove that a will is valid and to inventory and administer the estate and distribute any remaining associated assets after debts and taxes to the beneficiaries and heirs. And probate occurs when someone dies and they die intestate, meaning they died without a will, or they die testate, meaning they died having a valid will. If you have a will, and hopefully you do, what a will does for you is it lets you describe where you want all of your assets and stuff to go when you pass away, as well as who gets to be in charge of your estate and distribute your assets according to your will to your beneficiaries and heirs. A huge misconception people have is that if someone dies with a will, then their estate doesn't have to go through probate. And this simply isn't true. If you die in Arizona with or without a will, your estate will still have to go through the probate process. One way to help yourself and your family avoid probate is to have a trust and ensure all assets are included within the revocable living trust. When someone passes away, they typically have assets that are left behind, like real estate, cars, bank accounts, etc. And the main purpose of probate in Arizona is to change title to assets from the name of the person who passed away according to their last will and testament. And the probate process in Arizona would typically be handled by the executor or the personal representative if the deceased appointed one in their will once the probate judge determines the validity of the will. If the deceased person didn't have a will, then their estate will fall under Arizona intestate succession laws, and the court will appoint a personal representative to handle the estate based on Arizona law. And Arizona probate court says, who's in charge of the estate if you pass away? Who's in charge of making sure your assets go to the heirs who are legally entitled to them? Here in Arizona, probate is handled in the county court where the deceased person lived. Once documents are filed in the court, the probate judge will require notice to be given to everyone who would be entitled to inherit something from the deceased. The court is going to be responsible for making sure a number of things get done, like that all the assets of the estate get inventoried and they be appraised. If there's any disputes among beneficiaries or anybody else, the court will resolve those disputes. The court will also make sure that any creditors of the deceased person also get paid. Real estate is often the most valuable asset in an estate, and the probate court must frequently decide how to handle property that cannot be easily divided amongst the heirs. And once the court issues the formal legal documents appointing a personal representative for someone without a will or appointing the person named in the will as the executor, they will have full legal power and authority to administer the deceased person's estate, including paying the deceased person's bills, taxes, and selling any real estate or other assets to begin to distribute the estate to the named beneficiaries and heirs. One way to look at probate court is it's a plan for people without an estate plan. So if you haven't done any estate planning to avoid probate in Arizona, you're leaving it up to the probate judge to figure out who's going to be in charge of your estate. All right, now that you have a better understanding of what probate is, and if you want more detailed information regarding probate, you can visit a website that I have, which is probateinarizona.com, and the link is down below. And if you have questions regarding probate or real estate just in general, I have answers. Contact me. I'm Marvin, real estate broker and certified probate expert with Night Owl Realty, where we're up all night closing the deal.